Hi, so I wanted to spend a few minutes talking to you about Lesson Plan 1, your comprehension lesson plan. For this week, one of your tasks is to submit a draft of that lesson plan to the discussion board. And so in your module, you'll see that there are lesson planning items that are attached here. The template that you'll use to draft your lesson plan, the lesson plan directions and rubric, the template that you will use for task stream submissions and putting your lesson in task stream format when you are submitting the final document to me, not this week, but next week. You have some readings on differentiation and blooms, and you have your um, handouts for lesson plan 4, the disciplinary literacy documents that will be helpful later on in the semester. So one of the first things that you're going to do before you draft your lesson plan is you're going to complete the lesson plan 1 strategy text coding. You're going to first read about text coding in the Buell text. It's a strategy. And then I want you to read the literacy strategy you've chosen for lesson 1, close reading it and text coding or annotating the strategy to make sure you understand how to implement it. Buell gives you step-by-step instructions on how to implement the strategy. Um, Not everything in his implementation covers all 4 areas of gradual release of responsibility, so you might need to modify what he suggests to make sure you have focused instruction, guided instruction, collaborative, and independent practice. However, he gives you a really nice idea as to how to successfully implement that strategy in your lesson plan and then in your classroom. And so using it as a guide as you're planning is really helpful. So you're going to text code your plan or your lesson plan 1 strategy and then upload it as a PDF. And this is actually part of your points for lesson plan 1 is uploading the um, annotated strategy as well as uploading a plan for review. Now, you'll be getting your text set feedback back from me early in the week on Monday by Monday evening. If you have a lot of issues with your text set, you cannot move forward with lesson plan 1 until those issues are fixed and I have approved your text set. So please make sure that you look at that feedback early on in the week and get that feedback, um, get that information corrected, and so then you can move forward with lesson plan 1. So if you look at the template for lesson plan 1, I want to go over a little bit of information with you on, on that particular template. This is the template that you're going to be using in all 4 of your lessons for this class. So you're going to be submitting a draft for each of those plans prior to the final document and getting feedback on that draft from both your peers and myself. And so in the template, I provided you with italicized questions to help you think about the lesson planning process. And remembering that gradual release does not always follow the I do, we do, you do together, you do independently. All 4 phases have to be present. However, sometimes the sequences change for different purposes. So most of the time with the comprehension lesson, students will follow this traditional format because you will have to read aloud in your lesson. But later on in the semester, you might not start with I do, and then move into we do, and then you do together, you do independently. You might switch it up a little bit, and that is okay. This is also the same template that you will find in your gradual release of responsibilities readings from a few weeks ago. We've taken this template, put it in a Word document for you, and provided those scaffolds that Fisher and Frey talked about for the different areas of gradual release, along with other parts of procedures. So as you go through this particular lesson plan template, if you do not start with focus instruction, please make sure that you start in the document and you move around the 4 areas so it flows in the order you want it to. You have this in a Word document so you can edit the document. But you'll see here in all the different parts you have scaffolds. You also have a section on differentiation with the 4 different ways to differentiate of content, process, learning environment, and product, with examples of what those can look like. You also have more examples of what those can look like in the Tomlinson pieces. Please note that you do need to provide differentiation for ELLs, struggling students, and high ability. Even if you do not have ELLs in your classroom, you still need to provide differentiation. And so when you submit your plan, your final plan, you're going to be providing all of the handouts, all of the materials you will need to teach that plan, including the differentiation pieces. You'll see the assessments and then the materials and APA references. Now, a lot of this information you will be getting from your text set, which is the purpose of why we created that text set, and then you're going to be fleshing out those procedures pieces to be more detailed. In Senior Block, we expect you to provide very detailed lesson plans with scripting and with student and expected responses. And these are supposed to be in narrative form where you have dialogue in them as well. Okay, so please make sure that you look at the lesson planning items. Please do not forget to submit lesson plan 1 for review, and you will receive feedback again from your peers and from me as well.